Welcome to the Scaleup Valley podcast, where we bring the best of the best to help you scale your business from 1 million to 1 trillion. Today this episode is part of a very special season. This season is called Breakthrough Engineering, and it compresses all the scaling up journeys and the scale up lessons of leaders across the engineering, construction, and energy scope. And today with us we have a very special guest. His name is Sebastian-Justus Schmidt, the Chairman at Enapter. Sebastian, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for inviting.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show on this special season in partnership with IMI Hydronic Engineering, a subsidiary of the company IMI PLC, which is a listed company in the UK stock exchange. So let's get to know a little bit more about you, Sebastian, and of course about Enapter as well.
Thanks. Well, Enapter is a name from energy and adapting. So we try to make an energy more adaptable. And we found that hydrogen is a great idea. How we came to this idea? Actually, I was building my home in northern Thailand after 30 years and more career in IT. And when I was building my home in the most sustainable way, I came across of hydrogen, and we saw it as the best opportunity for doing things completely sustainable with no waste in the end. So we bought four prototypes from a very small Italian company producing electrolyzer in a special way. It's an REM technology. We used them for several years. The company went bankrupt in the end. And in 2017, after several years using electrolyzer and saw the opportunity in using hydrogen, we invested in the company. And that was a moment where I stopped being semi-retired. And I'm now active in Enapter. We started with 11 employees by the end of 2017, and today we have more than 100, and we are massively growing.
Well done. Congratulations. That's an amazing story, super inspiring. And so are you able to give a little bit more of metrics on the stage of growth of Enapter for the ones who are listening and tuning in, can have a little bit more of context of your scaling up journey?
Yeah, the actually, so we have to think about IT and about, let's say, experience I had with IT for more than 30 years. I remember my first job I started still just after education, and I came to a company where the chief technician should bring me around to see all the systems, but he was ill. And the reason was that the day before he had to carry a 5 megabyte hard disk. At this time it was 80 kilogram, so he had some back pain, could not come, was in the hospital actually. So today 5 megabyte, they fits well nicely under our fingernail. So that was a great story of scalability. And then look, when in the 80s came the PC, everyone said, okay, this PC will never be big. But in the end, PC technology is today in all the computer centers. So when we understand how a computer center is built, is thousands or tens thousands of PCs today called blade computing. And because they're cheap in the production, because you do a really scaled mass production. So we thought that for hydrogen, we could apply the same idea and same methods for these kind of relatively compact electrolyzer what we have. And so this is actually our journey. So we are on the way, and our goal is to reach the most lowest price of hydrogen in the most of the shortest time frame possible.
So that's great, and we introduce here the three critical ingredients that we always discuss on the show. So number one, radical focus. Number two, world-class team / leadership, and number three, a culture of execution. I know that in terms of radical focus, and I think that you just summarized this very, very well. So the goal or the mission or the vision is really to find out a way of turning this electrolyzer uh, at the lowest price possible. But there is a reason for that. There is a mission and a vision and values aligned with that. And I would love you to go a little bit deeper because I know there is a very strong mission behind what you do today.
Yeah, the vision is reality actually. So, I mean,
even better.
oh yeah, because there are so many initiatives in the world which try to make the world a better place. What we could easily see that some works as much as long as money is flowing in, and if the money goes away, then the projects are dying. So when we see people do their personal decisions based on comfort zone, where they are in a comfort zone, no one actually want to step out of comfort zone. No one want to stop flying, stop traveling, stop doing things as they do it today. So even if they say so, well, and there might be some behavioral changes, if you really want to make the big changes, then you need to do, then you can regulate it only about the price. And you have to set the price. So that means that if we produce, the core of this kind of hydrogen society is the production of hydrogen itself. So we take sun and other renewables and produce hydrogen out of this. So this kind of core of hydrogen production, this has to be cheap, like a processor, like how Intel, let's say, influenced the entire IT industry in the beginning. So we have to think about how we can bring the price down to influence the entire hydrogen society. So, and this is the reason on this ratio. So, and our goal is €1.50 by end of 2022 for 1 kilogram hydrogen, and we think a few years later we can even go to 50 cents. But first aim is our first goal, and we have here in our company clear lines, timelines, and everyone is running on this kind of promise, giving that we fulfill this kind of company goal.
Absolutely. I love the articulation. It seems easy, but it's quite complex to relate mission, vision, and values with the North Star metric, and then cascading it to objectives for the long, mid, and short term. And I think it's a work in progress. And if we don't have clarity, it's difficult also to speed up execution and get that kind of scalability. So what are how do you negotiate the non-negotiables with your team to assure that you keep focused and you are not trying to be everything to everyone?
Okay, I understand what you're. Okay, so let's say in the way we work internally, it's quite a bunch. Everyone has an individual, has an own opinion, but we have one common goal, and it's like I would say I very often use internally the words we are at war. Our aim is the climate change, to win this kind of race against the climate change. And if you calculate the numbers right, then we already have lost on many ways. So we lost actually on many parts already, and we have to keep up and speed up. And so it's quite hard. Actually, it's also hard in our company, even if we are still, let's say, a number where you see the each individual, and you know the people by names. So to tell them, hey guys, sure, we go to the weekend, and sure, we want to have sports and fun and barbecue, but also we have climate change. So I mean, in the end, there's a labor laws as well there, by the way, which stands against the fight of climate change. So yeah, so we have to balance it, and well, we try to do our best for this. But yeah, we need focus, and we need remind everyone every time what's about and what is on stage.
I love it. And do you have in place any kind of objectives and key results framework? Do you use any framework to define your own objectives? Is there anything in place?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have seen several of podcasts, so I think that there's these kind of rules which are very clearly defining what you have to do best to run a team, what you have, how to motivate them, how to do the communication internally, externally, and one of our topics is that we really first we are very transparent. So when you look to our website, you will find so many information about hydrogen, and I give my bet now. No other company in this kind of field is giving so detailed information in the handbooks, manuals on the website, free available for everyone. Mm-hmm. So this is, let's say, one of those kind of commitments we have given to us in the community. So internally, it's sure you want to be a modern company. You have your stock option program. You have these. You do a lot of things that people feel, let's say, like family. It's clear. Mm-hmm. But so being authentic is quite important for us. So we don't hire people who are, I would say, the pure natural professional in everything. And so they have everyone we have in our company have their edges, and where you see, oh, this is they are maybe not the perfect presenter, the perfect intellectual for these, but we unified. We are unique with and united with one idea in the company, and this is the most important thing. And everyone knows his place in the company and is working towards the aim.
Right, and I think it's a good way to jump into the second ingredient, the world-class team / leadership. It always surprises me, again, how simple it seems to articulate and to live mission, vision, and values. And I really think this is the great job of the leader of a team, is to constantly remind where is the North Star. Why are we doing what we are doing, and why should we be committed with that and leading by example? So we discuss a lot of times that we might need different kind of leadership or different leaders for each stage of growth. It's different to have a team of 20, to have a team of 50, 100, 200 people, or 300 people. So how much time do you dedicate to keep building the team and finding new profiles and new potential leaders to join your organization?
Oh, good question. I don't know exactly how much time I spend. I would say maybe during day when I'm with the people, then it's actually being with the people. I comment a lot so that they are happy when I'm away. And that's fine actually. So when they need me, they ping me and say, "Hey, I have a question." I think this is fine. So strategy works on the evening, on weekend when you read and when you have your talks, and in the evening when you have your talks with let's say with colleagues also, but also with external. So we do a lot of talks with other companies and people in the industry and ministries here in Berlin. So I'm now in Berlin, where there's a lot of let's say a need of education for hydrogen, and still there are many around which should know everything, but well, sometimes it helps to be there here as well and to help them with some ideas.
Absolutely. Got it. And as the company scales, it's very important to have leaders in place across all layers of the organization who are able to, and that's why we always start with radical focus, to have clarity around the strategy that provides clarity to the team and also involves the team on on building that clarity, and at the same time we are able to assure execution by building the team, not by doing things themselves. And we know that as the company scales, some of those initial individual contributors become managers or become leaders in the organization. And it might be difficult, this shift from an execution mindset to a leadership mindset where you provide clarity and you assure execution, you don't execute things. So do you have any kind of stories, any kind of lessons on how to help those leaders to grow within each team?
Yeah, so there's so be consistent and there's these kind of things is there are so many things. So let's speak about some very practical things. Labor contracts. Labor contracts could be, let's say, 10 pages or 15 pages. Here in Europe, they can get longer and longer and longer, and they get more complicated. And honestly, to understand a labor contract, sometimes you need a lawyer to get help to what actually they're writing. But the labor law itself is very clear and gives here, at least in Germany, quite a lot of advantage to the employee, which this is fine. This is all fine. So nothing against it. So why not you make a very simple labor contract? So this is what we started a few weeks ago to make the contract as easy as possible. Say hello, welcome. Everything that goes by law. If you have any questions, ask a lawyer. This is we don't interfere here. You get all your days. No one will cut anything. So and welcome. And the people love it because it's simple. And these kind of there's some questions I have, but actually most of them is regulated by law. So why you can't exclude it. So if it's not, it should not be tricky looking. It should be simply looking. So the same is actually we do with our contracts when you buy our systems from our website. It's a very simple contract. You can actually order the product from the website. You can get everything from the website, all the information, as I already mentioned. But we try to keep it simple. So then, not everyone likes it. So you will have customers who say, by the way, but our company is only buying with their own contracts. They say, hey, have you ever tried with Amazon coming with your own contracts? Yeah. Have you ever tried to buy Microsoft license? We say, no. License agreement. Here we are a big insurance company. We have our own license agreement. Try it with Microsoft. Have fun with this. So sure, they would say no. If you want to grow to the same size, you have to be very clear and have to say no as well. We do it very nicely. So if you don't like our product, you can send it back 4 weeks, fully, let's say, changeable. So no one is doing this in the hydrogen industry. So we do it. We do it different, these things, because if we want to reach our goal, then we need to make hydrogen not only cheap, we need to make it simple. And to make it simple, you have to be easy and you have to be very clear. So it's a part of our story to make it as easy as possible, as simple as possible. But also if there's someone coming to you who's very complicated, then maybe better go to one of our dealers who help us doing this instead of us.
Exactly. I think that you kind of just summarized your brand promises, a very important component of the building blocks of strategy. And again, it helps a lot as a compass for decision making. So if it doesn't help us to become cheaper, so more people can have this solution at home, so we can have a higher impact, it should not be done. If it doesn't make it simpler or even easy to use, it should not be done at all. So it is so much simpler for any leader at any stage of the organization to make a decision.
Yes, but I can tell you maybe the hardest for a leader is to avoid all these kind of distractions which come from left and right. You speak with a lawyer, you speak with some consultants, it gets always more complicated. Have you ever thought about this? It might be a danger for this, you and there. So you have to deal with some risks as well, and simply you have to cover it. So it's you as a leader have to cover risk. If you want to you want to be leader, and at the same time, you do not want to cover risk, you will go into dramatically, let's say, craziness. So
Right.
simply you have to cover your risk. So a little bit knowledge is always helpful here.
Absolutely. And let's jump to the culture of execution ingredients. Something that I really enjoy about our conversation and the connection with mission and vision is also your sense of urgency. So we must progress because we are behind. We need to recover some time in order to assure that our mission and our vision are executed in a time that is available for the planet and for all the humanity. So how does a leader like you, and how do you do that to keep this sense of urgency present? Because every single human being has their own interests, their own distractions, their own life purposes. And sometimes doing this link between the life plan and the collective plan or the business plan and the society needs, it's a very difficult link to do. And to have kind of a most bespoke vision for each member of the organization that brings them together as a team and have a common goal. And you also described it during our conversation. But in a nutshell, the question is, how do you keep this sense of urgency in a daily basis?
You repeat it. You have to repeat it over and over and over again. Maybe this is like a mantra. So urgency. So in Germany, we have this kind of life-work balance. I don't know whether this is everywhere in the world.
Yes,
Life-work balance. I said work is okay, but what kind of life if climate crisis has actually hit us strongly? So I mean there is no way out if we don't act today and now and fast and much faster than we actually people believe in acting. I mean, they come together in the evening to have. They speak about everything else in the world. So it's always for me. It's to remind them permanently. So actually, not everyone likes. If you start to do this, you will see that you were losing some friends who will say, "Oh, you always speak about the same topic for the last 2.5 years." And I say, "Yeah, that's right. This is my topic." So yes, you have to remind the people that everything what we are doing has some impact. So what should we do? So last time we had a barbecue with our colleagues. What should I say? No, please don't make barbecue anymore. Sure, we had a barbecue and enjoyed it, but it's not every day. Yes, so we have to find a balance here as well somehow. Yeah. So yeah, but urgency is important. We are at climate war. So and the war is not stopping because we have some free time now, go on vacation. So there's every day we are polluting our world more and actually make it more to a place, make it to a place which is more dangerous for our next generations.
Exactly. You have already described, shared with us in the show that you are currently based in Germany, but you also have teams around the world. So can you share in what locations Enapter is present at this stage?
I personally live in Thailand, in northern Thailand, in Chiang Mai. Most of our employees are today in Italy. We have a place here in Germany, and also extremely good working team in St. Petersburg, where our software came from. So our entire device is completely software enabled. So we have a huge bunch of sensors in the system and OTA. So it means we can manage the firmware remotely. So like similar what you can do with a Tesla. So in the car industries, that helps us a lot also to understand the systems and to do a lot of working with KA tools and doing preemptive maintenance. So if something happens in the same way, we understand that might be this and this will follow. So we can actually call them and say, you might need a new pump because it might break in a few weeks. So that is always helpful for the people. This is what we are doing. We are with this kind of, it was growing historically. So Here we had a small team of software developer. Here we had the first, in Russia, we had the first team of producer of the electrolyzer. So this is the reason from Italy. We have a team in Thailand. We have customers in Thailand because I live there. So, and Germany will be bigger because we are here on the way to look for a factory building. So we know if we want to scale, we need a factory, mass fabrication. So we already started our serial fabrication up to 100 devices in Italy, but we want to build a big factory here in Germany for more than 100,000 devices a year. And here then the price will drop down dramatically. And this is actually the basic idea why we have started our business.
Absolutely. So the ones who are listening has noted we discuss a lot of software in the show. This is an extra layer of complexity, especially with this special season on breakthrough engineering, where we also have a combination of hardware and software, which makes things a little bit more difficult and sophisticated to scale. So, but it's curious to see how you need to apply the same principles to software. And so I think that's one preparation to this podcast. You discussed the analogy between the software releases and the product releases. Would you like to share with our community as well your thoughts on that?
I'm quite sure that you can't build anymore a product today which is not software enabled. So, and this is not because it's fashionable. It's because it's a need. So to make a system stable, you need the data from the system and understanding of each individual part. So each electrolyzer consists on many small parts where quite a lot of parts is third-party parts we buy. Some of the most important things, like the stack itself, we do ourselves, but all the small pumps, sensors, some electronic parts we buy in, and we need, let's say, to see how they work and how they work in different conditions. So we have customers who are in the Antarctic, we have customers in the desert zone, in humid zone, in the jungle. We have things on the you see it on some of our on the website on our use cases in the Alps in 2,600, 700 meters high. So we have different use cases, and systems will react differently in different conditions. So we need to know exactly what happens with the system to improve them. If you want to mass products, which works completely seamlessly, and you don't need to think about, you switch it on and it works forever, then you need to work hard on this. And we are on the way to work. So our systems are already extremely good, but to be a super mass fabricated product, we still have to work very hard for it.
Absolutely. And it's curious to see that in different stages of scale or of growth of the company, we might have more sales-led driven growth, or product-led driven growth, or marketing-led driven growth. It will depend from stage to stage, but in this case, it's always true for any software and hardware company. The product needs to work, and if the product is the best in the world, it's much easier to scale the company.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's great. So we came to the last stage of the show, and that's my favorite question. And we always have a lot of fun here. So if you would have the opportunity to talk with Sebastian 30 years ago, or even before you started Enapter, if you prefer, what advice would you offer to your younger Sebastian?
I would definitely tell me work harder in some ways, but I wouldn't listen at this time.
I love it. That's great. Sebastian, it was really a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for making the time, and all the best for Enapter and for your mission. You are always welcome.
Mike, thank you very much. And yeah. soon. See you soon. Bye.
Perfect. And to our community, thanks for being there. We keep bringing you the best of the best. This time on this special season about breakthrough engineering, we're bringing the best of the best, not only in the world, but also across engineering and the engineering and the energy industries. See you soon and keep scaling.